For a start, though, in the board league, the Kellogg's Nutri-Grain Ironman Series, round one in Scarborough, and straight away the boys are flat out. It's a sprint down the beach. There is no time for conservation. They're into the surf, and bang, away they go.
Yeah, it's a critical little break there, isn't it, Plato? You've got 2 to 3 foot waves breaking. The southwest has come up, blowing at about sort of 15 to 20, 25 kilometres an hour. So there is a bit of chop out there at the minute, and the all-important start. You find the first race of the series, the guys are really, really nervous, as Shannon Eckstein just has a fantastic start.
He certainly does, and great to see him on his back, on his old colours there. The green and orange is what he used to race for when he was a young kid, and he's out in front. You know, he's got something to prove this year. He's quite committed to doing the Coolangatta Gold next year, and it's going to be great.
This is almost a commentator's dream. They're wearing the engine jammers with the riding on the backside. Very large for us.
Helps with the board paddling, doesn't it? Where you can just see them. I mean, Shannon Eckstein, I think this year you'll find, out of all the races we're doing, and we've shortened the formats this year, in and out through the break more, and out of all the guys in the series, he makes the least amount of mistakes. So, you know, he's one of those guys where consistency really plays a part, and he doesn't really finish worse than 5th in any race.
Looks like Wesy Berg is up there in second position. You need to be an Ironman just to get into those jammers, Nicole. There's some very tight equipment, but well done to Wes. He's been the fitness coach for Joel Parkinson.
On the way out, you're pushing into the chop, but Clado, on the way back, it's a free ride home, isn't it?
They do. Today they've got to go out to the middle can. So starting off on the ramp, they make their way out to the middle can rather than the left can. They then move around to the second right-hand can and back in. We've got 3 laps ahead of us. You'll see them when they turn this last can, they're going to chase the runners all the way back to shore as hard as they can.
And on that blue board that we just saw there as well as Hugh Doherty and Phil, he said to you in warm-up today, this is it. This is going to be the last series for him.
He did. Huey's, I think he's just had a long season, I mean a long year in the Ironman series, and it's time, you know, I think to make a judgment between life and sport, and he said to me earlier that he's going to hang the boots up. He's
very happy out of the water too. He obviously goes out with a lady that did very well in the Telstra Ironman series, Naomi Flood, so just a nice little budding relationship you've got going there, Leachy, on the water.
I'll tell you what, Floodie's a very aggressive racer and trainer, and I'd love to see those two guys training together at times. Funny stories.
Well, with our Telstra tracker, Shannon Eckstein punching into the wind. This isn't coming with the wind, but punching into the wind, he clocked up 9 kilometres an hour. So moving quite fast through the water out there at Perth.
Let me tell you, he'll be very happy sitting where he is right at the moment. That's Kendrick Louis on his left as you look at the screen. Matt Poole is on the right-hand side as you look out. Thomas Trembath is in 4th position. So at the moment, holding the pace and sitting nicely on the first lap of 3. They're 5-minute laps, Howie. So we're doing 15 minutes for the board league, and Shannon is controlling the race nicely at the moment.
Wesberg always looks so comfortable on the board. I'm not sure how much training he's been able to do being in Hawaii, but he's such a good competitor, as is Shannon Eckstein. The man had 4 operations in the off-season, has problems with his calves, and went in to get both those done, but the first one got some blood clots and was out of action. He said it was the worst pain he'd had in his whole life, so he'd only got one of the legs done, so it slightly hindered his preparation, but not enough to stop him becoming the world champion.
Here comes some waves, Clado. What's going to happen here?
Well, we've got quite a few guys getting on it. We've about 4 or 5 have missed out the back, so we're looking at about 10, maybe 12 guys paddling down the wave. There's Shannon Eckstein up the right, Kendrick Louis to the right of him, Tommy Trembath, Wesberg. What do we got there on the
Huey's on there as
blue
well.
Is Huey. We're moving down. We've also got Josh Minogue.
With a field of 16 and having 10 on the wave, that's pretty much, you know, not the whole field, but pretty much a lot of them, and these guys here will be fighting it out. So that's 1 lap around of 3 laps.
Gee, Tommy Trembath did that well. He went into that shore break at full speed, then just didn't miss a beat. Did he straight? His legs were running as soon as they hit the ground.
It's a bit of a skill to be able to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a real balancing act, and you got to know when to get off the board, and with the water sucking back out or pushing in, it's a real play on when to let your feet go down and momentum.
There's 2 ways of doing it. The first one is grabbing the handle and just running straight up with the board, or what Tommy Trembath did when he pushed his right-hand side of the board down, popped the board up under his arm and took off nice and clean.
Yeah, it was a good effort.
Well done to Tommy Trembath, Shannon Eckstein. Matty Poole is an interesting man. 2 years ago, he won a round. He was right up there, came 2nd overall. Last year, he had a bit of a tougher year, and he's coming off a knee injury in this preparation, but he won an event not too long ago in Coolangatta and said, speaking to him yesterday, that he wants to put his print back on this series.
You know what? I spoke to Michael King, his coach, who coaches Ali Day and also Kendrick Louis in the series, and Kingy was saying that Pooley's really knuckled down Nicole over the winter. done all the training that Michael asked him to do, and he's as fit as he can be.
Well, I think after that first year of bursting onto the scene, finishing second overall, winning the Red Bull Rookie for that particular year, the next year it was almost like it was very glamorous. He was heading off to, you know, overseas to Switzerland with Red Bull, and there was so much going on that just eyes wide open. Now he realises you can't skip the hard work because the results start to fade.
And Nick went with Candice Falzon, his girlfriend, and went and stayed with all people in Baltimore with Michael Phelps, and looked how he trained. So you're not going to get a better leading.
Is that because Candice knows him or Matt knows him?
Candice knows him.
Okay.
And took Matty over there and watched him train, and he said, you've never seen a man train like Michael Phelps in the lead up to the Olympics. They certainly enjoyed that. And we can have a look at the overall race map and what we're trying to achieve today, looking down on the former observation city, and this is the leg that they're trying to complete at the moment, Nick.
Well, they'll do it 3 times. The first time they go through the centre, and then they go around those 2 buoys, and then when they come to the second and third lap, they'll go around that third can or buoy once again. So it's a tough course for them, and 3 laps of each of them. We should also explain the accumulator format as well. So if you win, what happens?
If you win, you take your placing being first place, and that equals 1 point, as opposed to if you came 10th, that's 10 points. So we add up your 4 races. That gives you your accumulated result, and the person with the lowest number at the end of the 4 races is deemed the winner. Now, if it's done on a count back, if you have equal points with someone else, we count the last race, the Ironman race, as being the difference.
So consistency's the key.
It is, you know, and I think that these guys, these are the best ocean men in the world. I mean, there's no doubt we've got a couple of New Zealanders in the field, but the Aussies do dominate, and against the world, the Aussies stack up unbelievably well. So the skills these guys possess are second to none, and it is quite tricky out there, Clado, isn't it? There's a bit of bump, there's some waves, there's water moving underneath, and it gets quite technical at times.
It is. The toughest part is once you turn that can is putting the power on, putting the arms in, making it nice and deep and exploding so you can chase a runner. Now, 3 of the best guys that can ever do it is Hugh Doherty, Wes Berg and Shannon Eckstein, and there they are out in front. Shannon's chosen to cut back a little bit right, whereas Wes there, you can see, he takes a runner, leans back on his knees and tries to tack over to head back towards where they need to run around the poles.
And Huey getting a little bit of a lift from Wes there, right in his slipstream.
Yeah, it's like a little boat wash. You know, you're next to someone, all of a sudden they get a run, and then all of a sudden they get their little drive off it.
We are halfway through the board leg, a massive day to come, glorious day in Perth. There is Wes Berg, he's up the front, Shannon Eckstein, and there is the man they're chasing. This is sensational. This is the Kellogg's Nutri-Grain Ironman series. Stick around, plenty to come on 10. Second of 3 legs of the board, and Shannon Eckstein is trying to get onto the front of that runner.
Oh, he'll push hard here,
Hugh
Howie.
Doherty's on
He's
the
got
right
it.
on the blue, and Shannon is on it, and he's riding it into the beach with a couple of other boys right on his tail.
Well, he's cutting across now, Clado. He's actually working back towards where the actual the turning area is, where the television towers, and he's doing that because he wants to make sure.
Wes Berg's off. Wes Berg's
Well, there's Paulie.
Wes
Well,
Berg's nose dived, a simple little wave, made an error. The boys that are going to jump up now, Shannon, Pooley and Tommy Trembath. Pooley just got a runner from behind the whole squad, went straight through the group and made it all the way through on the one way.
I got to tell you guys, I'm thinking Matt Pool's here to race today, and he's going to take no prisoners. You can see it in his eyes in the warm-up today. It's a different Matt Pool from last year.
Well, we see a few more coming up the beach now as the guys going to the 3rd and final lap of this first race. So after this, they'll do a swim, and then they'll do a ski, then an Ironman. So
That's right. 15 minutes of racing,
bit.
5 minutes rest between each race, and not much. You imagine when the first person hits the line to win, there's 5 minutes before they start the next race.
In that board leg, Matt Poole caught up 9 positions on that lap. Shannon Eckstein stayed in the same position on second. Tommy Trembath dropped 1. Wesley Berg is in 4th. He picked up 5. And Ali Day is the mover. He picked up 8 positions from 13th to 5th. So the man that pushed Kane Eckstein all the way last year is starting to make his move.
And we haven't seen Ali Day at all, have we? So he's obviously got a bad start in the first lap going around, and he's working his way through. So that's a great effort, Clado, from Ali Day to move back into 5th.
It certainly is. On his Telstra tracker, Ali just clocked up 13 kilometres an hour coming down that last wave, so he's had a bit of an assistance. He's made his way in from the can, cracked a nice little wave and picked that speed up to make up those places.
now, Clado, 13 kilometres an hour, people go, oh, maybe not so fast in the car. Can you give us some examples of other speeds travelled?
I certainly can. For instance, Stephanie Gilmore does 35.7 kilometres going across a wave. Kelly Slater, the male, he hits 47.9. On land, 44.72 is Usain Bolt over the 100 metres at the Olympics.
Wow.
Very good.
Come to the table with
How
some
do you
stats,
reckon,
man. Well done.
About time you signed him up, Usain Bolt, maybe next season, Leach.
Yeah, we'll get him out there. We could teach him skiing aboard quickly, couldn't we?
Back at the front, though, the real experts are doing a very nice job.
Yeah, well, that's good technique too. On the knees, punching his way out the back. Matty Poole looking strong. And at the moment, Shannon Eckstein sitting in behind him. So is Tommy Trembath. We see Kai Hurst is back in about 10th, 12th position at the moment, where he hasn't figured up near the front at all. I would say his board leg's probably his weakest coming into this event. His swim leg, obviously the best, and we'll look for him in the swim event.
But he's doubting his swim leg, isn't he, Clado? Because he spent a lot of time, almost panicked, because he spent so much time concentrating on swimming this year. Now the transition into Ironman, he's been working a lot on his craft.
He certainly has. He's got a great coach there in Greg Hall. He's been working on the little things. Now, he knows that his board's his worst leg. I think he's going to make a big move in the swim. There's 3 laps. There's 3 opportunities for him to break it and get those points back. So it should be good.
How's he looking on the ski? Why don't you know?
He's been training hard. I mean, Kai's always paddled the ski well. He loves the ski. He's a powerful bloke. He's got the big upper body power there from the swimming, so I don't think it'll be a hindrance. This is the one leg. I mean, he raced last week up at Diggy's Beach, had a win there in the Ironman race. He was out in front by a way. Huey caught him on the board, but he ended up getting the win. And he even said to me, he said that the weak leg of his is definitely the board.
You know, he took his cap off with about 1 or 2 laps into the race, which made me think that straight away he was overheating and just overworking. So it was a very quick open water race, and he just didn't quite have it to match it with the guys.
These were the leaders the last time that they crossed the line. So when they crossed the finish line after 2 laps, Matt Poole was leading, and he's still holding on to that position. Shannon Eckstein on the green and orange board. And I'd have to say, Tommy Trenbath in 3rd position is doing a beautiful job.
Come off Noosa last year, the last round of the series, and he performed, didn't he, well there. And O'Coolum, the one before that, and you get to see in his eyes that he had belief, and he's come out, obviously, from the winter training going really well. Well, Shannon Eckstein's coming back now at Matt Poole. Kendrick Louis, person we spoke about before, he's in 8th position. So he's sitting up in a nice spot as we see Shannon Eckstein pull down a chop there, one of those windy sort of pushes that comes forward. They're coming back into the wave area now. You'll see the swell starting to stand up, and right now they're going to try to drive down this and turn it into a wave.
So this is it. This is the 3rd lap. This is where points are going to matter. First is 1 point. The lower the points, the better you go.
Matty Poole looked to be taking a position out to the right of the field there, Phil.
Yeah, he just got a little chop in front of there and he's pulled over it. Matty's going to ride that right through to the finish for a great board paddle.
Isn't that interesting? I saw his girlfriend, Candice Felson, talking to her handlers about just heading off to the right and whether or not that was a better option.
Well, that is just great knowledge of the surf, Leach. He went 20 metres right of his opponents, and it's going to get him a win.
No, he's done very well. Strategic, well done. He was out on the board warming up, playing around in the surf, trying to work it all out. And Matt Poole, what a great start. That's the first win of this season. He looks big, he looks strong, he looks fit, and a commanding board leg from him.
Just shows you, as well as strength and power, skill and knowledge is a massive part of this sport. Well done to Matty Poole. He is absolutely ripped to bits. Looks in fantastic condition. Look at the muscles on the boy, Leachy. As Matty Poole crosses the line, that is the board for him done. And Shannon Eckstein, he is always there, a very, very talented athlete. He'll be happy to slide into that 2nd position. Who have we got coming up? Tommy Trenbath was in business. It looks like he's been pushed back by Wes Berg, so well done from Wes. Hugh Doherty will be rounding out 4th position. And there is Tommy Trenbath. A great start to the year by him in 5th position. And these boys, it's a short recovery time because they'll be out there in the swim again very soon.
5 minutes. Oh, there's Tommy Atkinson. Great result for him. Ali Day, so he's gone back to about 7th or 8th position. So he was 5th before that. I think Corey Jones is coming up next. The Seagull, he's up there as well, as we see Mitch Miller sprint with Kendrick Louis for the other spots.
Well, that is a fantastic start, and well done to Wes Berg. Extremely well done there to get the job done. Ali Day finished nicely.
Kai Hurst still in the water?
He is still in the water, Nick. And there is the man in question. So he looks like he's had a pretty tough leg.
Yeah, tough leg. Look, he's got the swim next. Let's see what he has. Maybe a Beck Creedy. You know, in the women's series a little earlier, we saw Rebecca Creedy not have a great board, but then a fantastic swim.
Did that last year at Portsea, a bit of showtime standing up on the board into the...
You've got to land it right, though, don't you? It's either hero or not if you do that one.
Real risky stuff. Chrissy Moores comes across the line, and there is Kai Hurst coming along it now. Looks like he could be in 12th position crossing the line, and still the boys are trying to get through that tough little break.
Alex Tibbetts there riding a wave into shore. Joshy Minogue there, got a little bit bungled up there on the shore. As we said before, the shore break's very tricky. You've got to ride it right into the sand, bunt the nose into the sand so you can step straight off and get that clean run up to the finish line.
Well, they're puffing, aren't they? They've put some effort in the first race.
There is Joshy Minogue crossing the line. He's across in 14th position. He's back in the series, and we caught up with the young man.